Hey, what's up everybody? So for today, we will be reviewing the Akumaka smartwatch. And before we begin with this review, I want to inform everybody that I received this as a promotional product in order for me to go ahead and review. But I want to go ahead and give my objective, unbiased opinion of what this smartwatch has to offer. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the features that the Akumaka smartwatch has to offer. So you guys can go ahead and find this product on Amazon by simply searching for the Akumaka smartwatch. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and unbox the smartwatch, and as you can see, comes in a nicely neat packaging. The sheet of paper you see here will be used to register your product, which gives a 2-year warranty that technically gives you a replacement for the watch, but the warranty does not provide any sort of repairs. And if we take a look at the accessories package, we can see that it comes with an extra band that you can use to replace a magnetic strap. Replacing the strap is very easy and straightforward. All you're going to do is flip the watch over and you'll see these 2 latches that you can use to pull and take the strap off. Do this for both sides and easily replace the magnetic strap with the anti-sweat silicone watch strap that it comes with. The watch also comes with its own charging cable using your standard USB. The length is about 24 inches, and unfortunately it does not come with a standard USB charging block, so you will have to provide your own if you don't already have one. So when you pick up the watch, it's going to feel like a good solid smartwatch. It weighs about 2 ounces, so it doesn't feel too heavy on the wrist when you wear it. You have one side button that basically wakes the watch or puts it to sleep. So let's go ahead and unwrap the protective film and turn this baby on. So the dimensions for the watch comes in a 1.85 inch screen size and is coated with an oleophobic fingerprinting film, which provides a smooth and clear viewing screen. So I've never actually used a magnetic wristband before, so it actually took me a while to get this thing fitted properly without it feeling constantly like it's going to loosen up on me. But after a while, I actually did prefer using this better than the regular strap, as it does conform better to my wrist and it fits much more snugly. Alright, so in order to get the full functionality for your smartwatch, you're gonna have to download the app, and the app is available for both the Android and Apple iOS. I recommend briefly going through the instruction manual because when I initially tried to set this up, it took me a while to get everything synced up with my phone, and honestly, I had to go through the instructions to make sure I was getting this watch set up properly. So now, the app is going to ask you for a bunch of permission settings, so depending on your comfort level, you can go ahead and pick and choose which permissions you want to allow to set up between your phone and the smartwatch. Now, in my personal opinion, to get the best experience, you're going to want to go ahead and allow for most of the basic permissions such as notifications for email, messages, and your phone, and any other push notifications you may want to receive through your smartwatch. So the smartwatch also has a menstrual cycle tracker and will only show up if you selected your gender as female. It allows you to select when you started, the duration, as well as the cycle between the last previous period, so pretty cool thing to keep track of if you're a woman. So I highly recommend playing with the watch, as there are a couple of features that I don't necessarily want to go over each and every one. But this has your standard heart rate tracker, sleep tracker, music app, and also tracks your blood oxygen levels. Now, assuming you set the permissions on your watch and phone properly, you can also check your messages, emails, and also make phone calls from your watch. Okay, here, I'm gonna go ahead and test it. Hello?
Oh, sorry, you called?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just testing at the watch and you're my sample. So how do you...
Oh, yeah.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
The volume is pretty good too. I'm just listening to you from the watch's speakerphone, so it does sound pretty good. It also has a voice assistant app which also connects to your smartphone's assistant. Now, I didn't really bother to set up mine, but just know that the option is there for you. And the last thing you could also use is what is called the SOS feature. You basically select the contact on your phone list to be your SOS, and again, I didn't really get a chance to set mine up, but it will call your SOS in the event of an emergency. It also has what is called the toolbox, which basically has your other basic features like stopwatch, timer, find your phone, and this remote camera function, which is actually a pretty cool thing. Basically allows you to take a picture from using your smartwatch. It also has this calculator app, but honestly I wasn't too impressed with this one. It seemed a little clunky and didn't really seem to respond well to my inputs. Any other feature I want to talk about is the drain water feature. And I forgot to mention that the smartwatch is also rated as an IP68, which basically means that it is safe from dust particles as well as continuous water immersion. So because it has a rating of IP68, this basically means that you are allowed a maximum depth of about 6 meters, which is equivalent to 20 feet for about 30 minutes. So now that we had a chance to take a look at some of the features on the smartwatch, we're going to go ahead and jump into the smartwatch application. And this is the area where you can go ahead and take a look and change some of the features, like changing the faceplate on your watch, but also allows us to take a look at some of the biometric data like our sleep cycle, our heart rate, our oxygen, and our step counter. So let's go ahead and dive a little bit closer to see what the application on the smartphone actually has to offer. Alright, so if we take a look again at the watch faceplate selection, you have a good amount of options to choose from. So depending on your style, just pick something that fits you. And if we look again at the homepage, it shows us some of the basic features such as our heart rate, our sleep cycle, and our blood oxygen level. But more importantly, it shows us our step count. The target step count can be changed to a higher level or lower level, just depending on your needs. And if you click on the step number, it gives you a good chart and data of all of the metrics you've done so far. It's a good way to generally keep track and just see how you've been doing for the last couple of days, weeks, or months. So if we click on the sports icon, this is where the crux of data tracking is. The first thing you're going to notice is a plethora of different activities that you can choose to track. I mean, they seriously put every possible physical activity you can choose from, so if your activity isn't listed here, you probably made it up. But in all seriousness, I would recommend going ahead and taking out all the activities that don't pertain to you, because going through all of this while trying to keep track of all of your data is going to be a real pain in the neck. Alright guys, so now that I've had a chance to kind of go ahead and play around with the watch for a little bit to kind of see how the sports tracking data really functions, I want to go ahead and explain a couple of things here. You're going to have the option to keep track of your data via the training app on the watch or using the sports tracking app on the phone. If you take a look at the data here, you're going to notice a couple of things. You'll see a couple of 0-mile distances, and that's because I had to use the watch to start the data tracking. But if you go about doing it this way, it doesn't function properly. If you, however, go through the phone and start the cycle there, it will keep track of the distance for you. So I highly recommend that if you are the type of person who actually likes to keep track of your distance traveled and the route you took, go ahead and use the Smart app via the outdoor cycle icon and keep track of it there. You're also going to want to wait for the confirmation notification that says recording exercise track in order to ensure that it actually is keeping track of it. The one last thing I noticed also as of shooting this video is that the GPS tracking will show up on the day you perform the exercise. However, if you try to look back at your history, and for some reason the track tab disappears and you can no longer view the particular route that you had taken. So not sure if this is an actual glitch in the app or not, but I figure the developers who had created this app can easily get that fixed. And as far as all of the other sports tracking features, they basically only keep track of your basic data like duration of the exercise, the heart rate, and the calories burned. So this can be useful for you if you're the type of person that really wants to keep track of all of the activities you do on a regular basis. Alright guys, so that's pretty much my review for the Akumaka smartwatch. And the one thing I noticed is that it does not have the feature to allow payment via your smartwatch. So if you're the type of person who is looking for that, this watch is not going to have that feature. So overall, this pretty much gets the job done. And what I mean by that is it has your push notification, allows you to basically receive phone calls via your watch, check messages on your watch or your email. So it kind of gets that covered. But it also basically covers the basic things like how much steps you've taken for the day, your heart rate, your blood oxygen level, and of course your sleep data tracking if you choose to do so. A couple of things I would like to see the developers work on a little bit better is the ability to get the syncing function properly for things like data tracking, right? As I've mentioned previously is that, when you're using a watch to keep track of certain things, I say certain things like the cycling function, it only keeps track of the things like your heart rate, the time that you did your exercise, as well as like the other basic features like calories. But for some reason, if you're using a watch and you're starting the tracking from here, it doesn't necessarily keep track of the distance for some reason. And another thing I want to mention is that, when you're keeping track of your data for that particular day, it'll showcase the route you've taken, but for some reason, it will not bring that up back in the history page again. Like if you go back, like for example, yesterday, I was able to keep track and see the various routes that I've taken during my walks or my cycling sessions, but for some reason, the day after, that tracking tab basically disappeared. So I'm hoping that the developers could go ahead and get that sorted out and fixed. That way, you know, if you're the type of person who just likes to keep track and just see what you did for that particular day or the week prior, you can go ahead and see and just kind of go ahead, you know, again, keeping track of all of this data because, you know, why not, right? Anyways, guys, if you're looking for a smartwatch that covers the basic features such as your step counter, your heart rate, your calories, sleep tracking, this is definitely a watch that pretty much does all of those functions. So go ahead and take a look at the Akumaka smartwatch. And for those of you who are interested, go ahead and click on the description and the link down below. Enter the coupon code and get a 10% discount on your purchase. So anyways, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks a lot.